ESPN.com by Adam Rubin. ESPNNewYork.com by Adam Rubin. Here is what Mike Francesa had to say. Mike Francesa. You guys see Mike Francesa? You guys know Mike Francesa, right? Watch at him very carefully and tell me what you guys think. Mike Francesa reportedly said of Murphy on WFAN radio doing Wednesday shows, quote, "What are you going to do there? Sit there and look at your wife in the hospital bed for 2 days? Hey, Mike, get a life, my friend. Get a life, Mike Francesa. Really." He's saying, what are you going to sit there? What are you going to do? Quote, sit there and look at your wife in the hospital bed for 2 days? The guy's wife just had a C-section. Now here's Boomer Esiason, also on WFAN, and I was totally surprised at him. He's quoted in the same article. Mike Francesa, yeah, I can see him. You know, I can see Mike Francesa making that type of statement because he thinks he's the best sports commentator since sliced bread. Absolutely. Boomer Esiason said in part that Murphy's wife should have had a C-section before the season starts. Boomer, come on, Boomer. We expect better out of you. We expect better out of you. And the hard thing about it, before we go on, Esiason issued a lengthy apology on Friday at the start of his radio show. You know, I gave the statement on Wednesday. Women should not have children after 35. I'm going to give that statement again. And eventually, I'm going to get, you can send an email to somewhat.org@gmail.com on what you think about that statement. Women should not have children after 35. Here's Boomer Esiason saying to Daniel Murphy, his wife should have a C-section before the season starts. And sometimes these guys are doing this for ratings. I understand that. But, you know, you certain situations, you got to leave it alone. You got to leave well alone and get all the information before you come to any conclusion. So after Boomer Esiason made his outlandish statement, he had to come back and apologize. Quote, "I just want to say again on this radio show that in no way, shape, or form was I advocating anything for anybody to do. I was not telling women what to do with their bodies. I will never do that," he said. "That's their decision, that's their life, and they know their bodies better than I do. And the other thing, too, that I really felt bad about is that Daniel Murphy and Tony Murphy were dragged into a conversation and their whole life was exposed, and it shouldn't have been." Mets manager Terry Collins said the criticism was unfair. Well, Boomer, you dragged them into it too. You were an accessory to the argument. He was an accessory to the argument. So he dragged them into it. He had to make a comment. You know, why couldn't Boomer Esiason and Mike Francesa simply said, you know what? Until I get all the information about why he stayed, or, you know what? That's a family matter. They can do as they please. And it really pains me that these guys on national radio, and they can do, it's the same thing they did to Deshaun Jackson. The same exact thing. They vilified him. They didn't have any information. And that is what this sports media is all about. That's what it is. It's all about selling ads. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But you have to be very careful, especially in this type of situation. Because you make these type of statements, and a few days later, you got to apologize for it. It happens over and over and over. The guy did the right thing. It's your first kid. I don't care if he took a week. First is first. You don't get a second chance to have a first. He don't get a second chance to have a first kid. I don't know if these guys understand that. When we should have been applauding this guy for making the right decision, for staying with his wife in one of the most traumatic situations that a husband and wife are going to go through as far as having a kid. It's tough. But you have these Monday morning quarterbacks, as you call them, standing at the sideline and beating up on their chest. And Mike Francesa saying, big bad Mike Francesa, making these comments about Daniel Murphy. What are you going to do? Sit there and look at your wife in the hospital bed for 2 days? Yeah, Mike. That's what he's going to do. Sit there, be with his wife to support her in these time of need. She just had a C-section. Maybe you know what they should have done? No, I'm not going to go there. I don't want to do that. Don't go there. But we got to have these guys understand that you're on national radio and you got to think before you speak. Because many times these guys just get a topic, they run with it, they say what they have to say, and a day or two they come back and they apologize. Bumoy Sison apologized. And listen, I want to see if Mike Francesa is going to apologize. I think he's too big for that, for him to apologize. Mike Francesa apologize? Oh, boy. We're going to wait for that day. Time check. The time is approximately 9:35 p.m. We're going to go for a short break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up.
This is the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience. We want to hear from you at 973-327-3626 or log on to showmore.org to let us know your opinion.
Want to learn piano for kids? Then I recommend Wendy Goldstein School of Piano. Wendy Goldstein has been offering piano lessons since 1993 and teaches piano in a very natural way. An alumni of Manhattan School of Music, Wendy creates customized lesson plans for each student and helps bring music alive. Wendy provides you a convenient location, the best value, and the most fun way to learn piano. All ages are welcome and the first lesson is always free. Have questions? Call Wendy at 201-207-5169.
Do you want your kid to run faster with better running form and conditioning for his or her sport? Then Running Development Academy is the place for him or her. Our training packages fix their form and make them run faster. How about training to run a marathon or just run faster in your respective event? Maybe you just want to learn to run properly and lose weight in the process. Our trainers, a former 800 meters track Olympian and an 8 times world record holder in Masters Track and Field, will get you there. Don't delay. Sign up today at runningdevelopmentacademy.com or contact us at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444 to learn more.
Are you looking for a professional logo design for your website, brand, or business? Then we are the company you are looking for. We are professional graphic designers, and with our skills, we will design a perfect, high-quality logo for you. We work with standout concepts, nice contrasts, and color balance. Please let us know your text for use in logo, web address, color of logo that you want. We will design 3 variations of your logo for you to choose from for only $99.95, with 100% refund of your $99.95 if you're not satisfied. We provide fast delivery and professional design. We also design any size web banner ad for $35. Call us at 347-674-1680. That's 347-674-1680. An operator is standing by to take your call.
A new kind of talk comes to South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience in April. Join award-winning journalist and civil rights activist Walter Fields weekly as he discusses being black in South Orange and Maplewood, race, and the suburban experience. Black in the Burbs will examine public education, the treatment of black youths, police and community relations, and black business development and faith. The show will serve as a forum for community dialogue. Join Walter Fields on the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience for Real Talk, coming in April.
Get into the discussion at 973-327-3626. This is the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience. We want to hear your opinion. You can log on to showmore.org or give us a call at 973-327-3626.
We are back with you. It's in the Village with Anselm on the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience. Coming to you every Monday through Friday from 8 to 9:30 p.m. That's 8 to 9:30 p.m. You can reach us here at 973-327-3626. That's 973-327-3626. And before we leave tonight, we definitely want to give you, our Friday special, what's called West Wing Week. We give you a summary of what happened in the White House this past week. So let's take a listen to West Wing Week.
I'm Catherine L. Morrison. I go by the name of Kay, and I want to introduce you to West Wing Week.
Welcome to the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and beyond. This week, the president wrapped up a 6-day trip to Europe and Saudi Arabia, spoke on the success of the first open enrollment period of the Affordable Care Act, traveled to Michigan to highlight the importance of raising the federal minimum wage, and honored both the World Series champion Boston Red Sox and the 2014 U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams. That's March 28th to April 3rd, or the Rosies. This West Wing Week started off in Rome, where the president began his 6th day of a week-long trip to Europe and the Arabian Peninsula. He met with CBS's Scott Pelley for an interview. The president then traveled to Saudi Arabia, where he was greeted by members of the Saudi royal family. While in the country, he traveled to a desert camp where he met with King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia for a bilateral meeting. On Saturday morning, the president presented Dr. Maha Al-Munif with the 2014 International Women of Courage Award for her advocacy work on the issue of domestic violence.
This is an ongoing issue, and for them to see your ability to pass laws here in the kingdom gives, I think, people confidence in other places where the issue may not always be lifted up.
The president then traveled to Ramstein Air Force Base, where he thanked injured American soldiers for their service. On Monday, the president and vice president hosted a very special group, the Rosie the Riveters Gang, to honor their special place in American history.
Here's a guy
The women were invited to the White House to honor the significant impact their actions had on improving not only women's rights, but also America itself. The president brought the Rosies to the Oval Office after sharing a story of why their visit was personal for him.
So to have these ladies here, who all remind me of my grandmother, to be able to say thank you to them, and in that way, also be saying thank you to my grandma and so many other women who aren't here today, but helped to win the war and open up opportunities for my daughters. That's something special.
On Tuesday, the White House was bursting with a different set of reds, whites, and blues as the Boston Red Sox came for a visit. Fans young and old came to pay tribute to the 2013 world champions. And as he left, the president couldn't help but add one more thing to the conversation.
White Sox next year.
Later that day, the president and vice president gathered in the Rose Garden to announce that 7.1 million Americans signed up for affordable health insurance through the federal ACA website, exceeding the goal that few thought the once flawed website could handle.
As messy as it's been sometimes, as contentious as it's been sometimes, it is progress. It is making sure that we are not the only advanced country on earth that doesn't make sure everybody has basic health care.
The First Lady kicked off this West Wing Week Wednesday by bringing Food Corps volunteers and local students to her annual spring planting of this year's crops in the White House gardens, including a brand new pollinator garden. Meanwhile, the president traveled to Ann Arbor to speak at the University of Michigan on the importance of raising the federal minimum wage. He stopped in first at Zingerman's, a local sandwich institution, where he sat down for lunch with minimum wage earners.
What do you think? Just classic Reuben?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This little fancy thing taking orders, right?
Yeah.
What do you got to drink? This is good iced tea?
Yeah, we have really great iced tea.
Right. How old are you? 22.
This is the time.
22? Now's the time. Go to France, have an adventure.
Appreciate it.
What do you think? You're 22 years old. You can go to France and then.